Hey. How's going everyone? Thank you for choosing our course. Do you want to start learning programming on Python? To start programming, it can be a little hard. So you maybe think to take some courses to start learning Python. It's true that some programming languages take a day or two to grasp of its basics. Fortunately, Python is one of the easiest computer languages and you can make your program in just a few minutes. So join us in this course and start learning the basics of Python. How to download Python? Download Python. First, you should download Python for free on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Let's see how. First, go to google.com and type Python. Then press enter. And then choose the first one. And then put the mouse on downloads and choose your operating system, either Windows or Mac or either Linux. If you have Linux or Macintosh, it should be already installed on your computer. But you have to make sure that 3.6 or more, the newest version. After downloading, install it on your computer. How to download text editor. Download text editor. Text editor makes you create Python program easier and faster to write and read. So there are a lot of text editors available on internet. We will download and install a text editor called Brackets for free, and it's available for Windows and Mac OS. Let's see how. First, go to google.com and type Brackets, and then choose the first one. After that, download Brackets and install it in your computer. Using our first code in Python. After installing Python to our computer, we go to terminal in our computer and type Python, or Python 3 is better. As you see here, Python is working well. Then try to type print and space and then apostrophe symbol and type hello world. And put apostrophe symbol again and press enter in the keyboard. Very nice. As you can see here, Python printed hello world well. This is our first use of Python. Thank you very much. Understand the basic concepts of Python. So in this lecture, let's understand the basic concepts of Python. Python is an interpreted language, which means you can run the program as soon as you make some changes to the file. So that makes fixing programs is much quicker than many other languages. Python is one of the easiest programming languages to learn, and you can have your basic program and running it in just few minutes like what we did in the previous lecture. Python is an interpreted language, and it doesn't need to compile it like other object-oriented languages. How Python deals with objects. Python deals with objects. In this lecture, you should know this point really well. Python is an object-oriented language, which means everything in the program seems as objects. So, you will not have to declare variables at the beginning of your program. You can do it at any time. Unlike other programming languages, also, you don't need to specify the type of variable, integer, float, bool, etc. How to use Python as a calculator. Using Python as a calculator. We can use Python to perform basic mathematics with ease, such as addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and percentage. Let's see how. First, we open terminal and type Python, and press enter. Then type any number with a basic arithmetic as you see on the screen. Try by yourself now. Don't forget the symbol means comment, which the program will not execute it and it doesn't hurt at all. It's just a comment for you. How to use square in Python. Square in Python. We can use this asterisk, which means square numbers. Python is very good and fast to calculate large numbers. Let's see how. Like every time, first open terminal. Then type Python. Then you can use the square with any numbers you like. So now you should be able to use Python as a calculator. Thanks for watching. How to create variables in Python. Creating variables. It's very easy to make variables in Python. You only need the name of the variable that you wish to name it and assign its number by using equal operator. Let's see how. First, go to terminal and type Python. Then create any variable name that you want and assign it with any number you like using equal operator. Then type another variable name and assign it with any number. Then use any basic mathematical operators for your variables. As you can see here, it works well. We also can name the variables whatever we want. Even long names would work. How to create your program in text editor. Start your program with text editor. You can easily create a Python program with text editor and save your work on computer and compile it in the terminal. Let's see how. So now, open brackets the text editor that we installed it into our computers. Then make sure you are using Python in the text editor. Then type your first Python code, print hello world, that we've used in our previous lecture. Don't forget the quotation marks. And then save your file on your computer. It's better to save it in your desktop. Then name the file as hello and make sure the format of the file is like what it shows in the screen. py means Python, and then click save. How to run Python file on terminal. To run our Python program file, we first go to terminal and type ls, which means list all the folders in your computer. And then type cd, which means change directory, and put desktop if your Python file is on desktop, and press enter. After that, type python space and dot slash file name .py. Pretty well. As you see here, the program printed hello world really well. Thanks for watching. Test out your program during your work. Test out your program. You can test out your new programs immediately like what we showed in the previous lecture. So a good practice is to have your command prompt open at the same time that you have your text editor open. When you save your changes in your text editor, you can immediately run the program from the command line, allowing you to quickly test the changes. What is syntax? Syntax. Syntax is an important thing in programming languages, and it's like grammar in English. You have to know the grammar to use English correctly. Let's see how. So, for example, I'm gonna give you a syntax example to see how it goes. Here is just a comment. So, syntax is like grammar in English, and all programming languages have that. So, the example of the syntax will be for loop. So, the syntax is for val means value in range parentheses 5 colon. Then print val or value. And then we will try that on terminal. But first we need to save the file and then try it on terminal. As you can see here, the for loop works well and start counting from 0 to 4. And we will learn more about this for loop in future lectures. Thanks for watching. How to use if-else statements in Python. So, as always, first we go to brackets and then create any variable name such as num and assign it with any number such as 3. Then we type if statement variable num greater than or equal sign 0 ended up with colon. After that, type print with the string signs and write positive number. So now type the else statement followed with the colon in the end. Then type print with the string signs and then type negative number. So finally we can understand that these statements mean if the variable number is greater than or equal 0, print it's a positive number. Anything else, print for me it's a negative number. So this is just an example for if statements. Then don't forget to save your work. So right now, let's try if it works on terminal. First, type Python, and it's easier for us to drag and drop the file to the terminal and then press enter. As you can see here, it works well and printed positive number. Anyways, thanks for watching. String operations. String operations. Strings are kind of text, and they can be defined as anything between the quotes. Let's see how. So, first go to brackets. So, to type a string in Python, first you have to create any variable such as a string equal string signs hello Python. Hello Python here is string, and the variable is also string. After that, we will print our string to see if it works well. Print parentheses, between the parentheses put the string, as you see in the screen. After that, save the file and try on terminal to see how it goes. type Python 3, drag and drop the file, and press enter. Pretty nice. As you see here, hello Python printed well in the terminal. So now, let's try to add another string. We will create a variable called string2 and assign it using equal sign, string signs. I love to learn new things in Udemy. After that, we will print these two strings together. We will type print parentheses string plus string2. Then save the file and try on terminal again. As you can see here, it's printed well, but we have a little problem, which is the space between Python and I. So to fix that, you have to put the space after Python or before I love. One of them can be worked. Save the file and try on terminal again. As you see here, it's fixed well right now. Cool. Thanks for watching. Boolean values. Boolean values. Most of programming languages, including C, C++, Java, and Python, provide the Boolean type, which means can be either set to false or true. Note, in programming languages, we use 1 as true value and 0 as false value. Let's see how. First, we go to brackets. So, in here is just a comment. Alright, to use Boolean, we have to create a variable called a and assign it by true. Just an example. You can create any variable names that you want. Make sure the T of true is capital letter, and create another variable called b as example and assign it by false if is capital also. After that, print variable a and print variable b. Then save the file and try on terminal. As we learn, type Python 3, drag and drop the file to terminal and press enter. So now you can see the output here, true and false. There is another thing we have to know, which is not true or not false. So, to use not, create any variable name such as a equal not true, T is capital also. In this case, not true means false. Also, create a variable called b as example and do the same thing, not false, which means true. Alright, so print a and print b and try them on terminal. Don't forget to save the file before trying on terminal. As you can see here, the result became opposite. Very good. Thanks for watching. In operator. In operator. The in operator could be used to check if a specified object or variable exists within the list of variables. Let's see how. To use in operator, we first go to brackets. So in here, we need to create a variable, for example, animal, and assign it with a string name dog. Don't forget the string signs. Okay, right now we need to use if statements. So type if animal, then in operator with a list of strings. To make a list of strings, open brackets and put the string names following with the string signs separated by comma, and then close the brackets and put colon. For example, I want to put any different strings. I will put lion, cat, and dog. After that, I'm gonna print your animal is in the list to make sure that it works well. Then we gotta try on terminal. So now open terminal and type Python 3. Drag and drop the file and press enter. Cool, as you can see here it says your animal is in the list, which means it works fine right now. So right now we want to use the keyword not and type animal not in the list. Also, change in the print statement and make it your animal is not in the list to make it little fancy. And delete the string dog, then try that on terminal. Don't forget to save the file before trying on terminal. Very good. Not displays well. Thanks for watching. Our first simple program. To start working in our program, we use the text editor brackets. So let's start working on our simple program right now. I want to create a variable called name and assign it with print to display on the screen to the user. Then put brackets and type input inside the brackets, which means to prompt the user to type something. And type another brackets and put a string signs, put your name. Or you can put whatever you like. After that, I want to create another variable called age and assign it with print. Then open brackets and put input to prompt the user to type whatever they want. Then open another brackets and type what is your age. Finally, I want to display to the user thanks message. So type print and open brackets, string signs, and thank you for using my program. So now, save your work and try on terminal now and see what we did. Cool. Now enjoy with your Python program. Thanks for watching. Simple program to calculate age. We first go to brackets. So here is just a comment and it's not gonna hurt the program. Then I type print to display a little information about the program, such as answer the questions to know how long you have lived in this life. After that, I will make a variable called name and assign it to input. Then open brackets, string signs with the word name. Alright, then print open brackets with the string signs, and I will type, for example, what's your age? Comma, open brackets with the variable name that we did above, comma, and question marks with the string signs. Now, I will make a variable called age and assign it to int. Int means integer. Integer only takes whole numbers. Now, open brackets, input, and open brackets, string signs, the word age. As you can see here, it's just a comment for you. Then type days equals age multiplied to 365, which means to convert it to years. We also gonna convert minutes and seconds. The last thing we gonna display the days, minutes and seconds. But we should write the variable's name to be displayed also. Then we print a thank you message. Save your work and try on terminal right now. Alright, don't forget to use Python 3. Then enjoy your program. Thanks for watching. Upper and lowercase functions. To do the lowercase function in Python, we first go to brackets and make any variables, for example, my name, and assign it by a string such as Jeff, and make sure the first letter is a capital letter. Then print my name dot lower and put 2 brackets. After that, save the file and try a terminal and see what it's gonna print for us. As you can see here in the screen, Jeff became small letter because we used lower function. Okay, so right now go ahead and try upper by the same way that we use for lower. Then save the file and try on terminal again. As you can see here, Jeff became capital letters when we use the upper function. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. No lines in strings. No lines in strings. We can use no line in strings whenever we need to use it. Let's see how. We first go to brackets and try this as example. Type print with the string signs and kinds of fruit: apple, banana, pear, peach. So if we try this on terminal right now, it will print only one line. As you see here, it's printed all the fruit together in one single line. But we need to make each kind of fruit in a new line. So to make each fruit in a new line, we have to do this. We should type backslash with the letter N, exactly like what you see in the screen here. We actually can put it whenever we want the new line to be. Then save the file and try it on terminal. Very nice. As you can see here, each kind of fruit became in a new line. Cool? Thanks for watching. Combining strings. Combining strings. To combine strings, for example, you might want to store first and last name in separate variables, and then you want to combine them if you want to display full name. Let's see how. First, go to brackets. Create variable names. First name with a string John, and last name assigned by Jeffrey, for example. Then we create another variable called full name assigned by first name plus last name variables. So right now, print the full name. Save your file and try it on terminal right now. As we can see here, we have a space problem. We just have to put a space after John or before Jeffrey. All of them would work. And try again in terminal. As you can see in the screen, it works well right now. Also, there is a common way to put a space, which is after the plus, put a string signs, space, and another plus. Save the file and see the terminal again. This way is also working well. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. String function. String function. String function is a built-in function that can be useful if you have a string sentence and you have an integer number and you want to print them all together as a string to be in one sentence. Let's see how. Alright, So now go to brackets and create any variable such as my name and assign it with a string sentence. For example, hello, my name is Jeff and my age is. Then create an integer variable, for example, age, and assign it by an integer. As we mentioned before, integer means whole numbers. Create a variable called total and assign it by the variables my name plus age. Then print total. Save the file and try on terminal and see what it shows. As you can see here in the terminal, it shows an error that asks to make the variable age to be on a string and printed well. Okay, so let's fix that. So as you can see here, 32 is an integer. To print that as a string, we should put str before age and put the age variable between the brackets or inside the brackets. After that, save the file and try on terminal now. Very nice. It works well right now and it displays the 32 integer as a string. So str function is very helpful to convert integers to strings. Thanks for watching. Title function. Title function. The title method is nicely capitalize the first characters of the words. Let's see how. First, go to brackets and create a variable called name and assign it with any name. Jeff as example. Make sure the string names are small characters. Then create another variable called last name and assign it by string Jackson. After that, print the variables my name plus last name. So right now, put the title method with its parentheses after my name and last name. Then save the file and try on terminal. Alright, as you can see here, we got a space problem. We just have to put a space after Jeff or before Jackson. Pretty cool, it works right now. As we can see here, the first letter of Jeff, which is J, became capital. And the same thing with Jackson, J became capital. Anyways, thanks for watching. Lists in Python. Lists in Python. Lists are a group of elements that are in particular order. In Python, square brackets means a list, and each element in the list is separated by commas. Let's see how. To create a list in Python, first go to brackets and create any name variable for your list. As example, I'm gonna name it animals, then put equal brackets and then put the elements with the string signs. For example, lion, tiger, dog, parrot. Put commas to separate between the elements. After that, print animals and try it on terminal. Don't forget to save the file before trying on terminal. As you can see here in the terminal, the list of animals printed exactly like what it shows in the code. Alright, now if you want to print any specific element from the list, such as lion, you have to type print animals brackets and put 0 in the brackets, which means the first element in the list. That title method is just an optional if you want the first character to be capital. Then try on terminal again. Yeah, look at that, line is printed well. So if we wanna print the element parrot, which is number 3, try this also on terminal. It works well, this one also. Cool. We also have another way to print the elements from the end to the first, which is type print animals brackets and put -1 as example to print from the end, which is parrot, and see that on terminal. So if we change it to -3, it will print tiger. Or -4 to print lion. Finally, you have either way to print the elements from the list by start counting from 0 or print from the end by -1. Cool, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Combine an element from a list with a string. First, go to brackets. As you see here, we have a list of animals, so we will create a string message as example and assign it by a string of I love my space. Then print message plus animals element 2 or dog. Untitled method is just optional. Then try it on terminal. Look at that. It's printed I love my dog. Very nice. Actually, there's another way to print that. By using print I love my plus space plus animals element -2 or dog. That title is just an optional, but it's good if you just put title. Okay, try on terminal now. Cool, it's printed I love my dog. Very good. That's all for now. Make sure you have to do this by yourself on your computer. Thanks for watching. Change an element from a list. To change elements from a list in Python, go to brackets. As you can see here, we have our previous list, which is animals. So if we want to change an element, for example, the element parrot, which is number 3. So we just have to type animals, square brackets, number 3, equal sign, string signs with the new element name, such as cat. After that, print animals, save the file, and try on terminal now. Very good. As you can see here, cat is superseded parrot's place. Okay, so let's try to change another element. For example, line which is number is 0. Type animals, square brackets with number 0, equal sign, string signs, and the name of the new element such as monkey. Okay, save the file and try on terminal now. Wonderful, the element line is changed to monkey right now. Okay, try to do it on your computer right now and see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for watching. Delete an element from a list. To delete an element from a list, go to brackets and create a list. For example, Toyota, and the elements are, for example, Camry, Corolla, Nissan. So right now, to delete an element, you just have to type del and the list name Toyota with the square brackets and the number of the element such as Nissan, which is number is 2 because Camry is 0 as we know that. After that, print Toyota, save the file and try it on terminal. Great! As you see here, Nissan does not print it and it's deleted already. Okay, let's try to delete another element. For example, Camry, which is number 0. Save the file and try it on terminal again. Cool, Camry is deleted already. Thanks for watching, guys. Using sort and reverse methods. So we have created a list already. Now, if we type the name of our list, which is list by capital L, and dot sort parentheses, then print the list and try it on terminal. Okay, sort method is sorted all the elements alphabetically: apple, book, camel, dog. So if we want to sort backward alphabetically, we have to type reverse inside the parentheses of the sort method equal true. Make sure T is capital letter. Always in Python, we have to use capital letter T for true or capital F for false. Alright, try on terminal now. Great, it works well right now. Also, we can use reverse method to sort the elements from the end or from right to left. So, to do that, type the list name, which is list, dot reverse with its parentheses. Then save the file and try on terminal. As you can see here, it's reversed from right to left. Thank you so much. Using length method. First we go to brackets. As you can see here, we have our list here. So to use length method, that shows how many elements in the list. We type print parenthesis len parenthesis and the list name, which is list. After that, save the file and try on terminal. Cool, it's printed that 4 elements, which are correct. Book, apple, dog, camel, they are 4 elements in the list. Using for loop in lists. For loop in lists. For loop in Python is very useful and very common thing to do in almost all programming languages. But when we use for loop in lists, it helps us to print each element from the list individually. Note, we can use for loop for many different things in programming, but in this time we will use for loop with lists. Let's see how. First we go to brackets. As you can see here, we have our list: book, apple, dog, camel. Okay, so to print out each element from the list using for loop, easily we just can type for list in list colon. Make sure L is capital. Okay, what we typed here is for. For means for loop. List in list means to call each element from the list and store it in the variable list, which is the second list. After that, print to see what we did here. So, to print in for loop, make sure you have the indent or press tab in the keyboard. But in this application brackets, when you press enter, it gives the indent automatically. Then type print, put any strings such as I love my space plus list. Alright, save the file and see it in terminal. Very good, it shows all the elements with the string that we entered. Is that cool? Okay, for now we want to print a thank you string. To print a thank you string, do not put the indent, which means it's out for loop. Then try on terminal. Wonderful. As you can see here, it's printed alone. But if we put the indent before print, look what it shows. It's printed thank you message with each element of the list. Alright, hopefully you got the idea of for loop. Thanks for watching. Using for loop with range method. Using for loop with range method. Range method is very useful function that can generate numbers that you specified. Let's see how. First we go to brackets and type for value in range parentheses 1 to 5, which means here to generate numbers starting by 1 stops in 5, which means 5 will not going to print. Also make sure you have the indent before print keyword because it should be within for loop. Then print that by typing print value. Okay, let's try that on terminal. Okay, as you can see here, we get an error because we forgot the colon. These little mistakes are always happening with programmers. Just be aware of that. Okay, try that on terminal again. Wonderful, it works well right now. It started from 1 and stopped on 5. Thanks for watching. Using min, max, sum with numbers and lists. First go to brackets and create a list. For example, list num and add any numbers such as from 1 to 10. Then print min with its parentheses and put the list name, which is list num, inside min's parentheses. Try that in terminal. Very good, it's printed the minimum number in the list, which is 1. Alright, now try the word max instead of min and see what it shows in terminal. Cool, number 10 is the maximum number in the list. But now use the word sum. That will add all the numbers in the list together and it will give you the total. Great. Number 55 is the sum of all the numbers in the list. Good job. Thank you so much. Making a slicing list. Slicing list. To make a slice with list, you should specify the index of the first and last elements you need to work with. So this is sign of slice. You should use it to make a slicing list. Square brackets, first element, colon, last element. Let's see how. First go to brackets. Then create any list. For example, I wanna make a list called operating systems or OS. Then I wanna put elements such as Mac, Windows, Linux, Android, and iOS, separated by commas. After that, print this slice list by typing print the element name, OS, square brackets, put the first element that you need to start with. After the colon, put the last element that you need to stop in. Save the file and try that on terminal. Great, the sliced list printed well. Okay, now let's try to change a little bit in the slice list and see the difference. If we did not put anything in the first element before the colon, Python will recognize that and will start from 0. See that on terminal right now. Okay, if I put from 0 to number 3, it will print from Mac to Linux. Cool. Now, I will try from 2 to 5. Good. As you can see here, it's printed the last 3 elements. So, if we try from 2 to number 3, it will print only Linux. Pretty good. Okay, now let's try to print 2 before the colon only. Great, it started from Linux. Also, it's possible to print that by using minus, and it will print from right to left. Pretty good, guys. This is just a practice for you to know how to use the slice list and print it out. Thanks for watching. Using for loop with slicing list. Using for loop with slicing list. Slices are very important to know it because if you want to create a game, you have to use slices to add the scores of the user or the player each time they finished playing. Let's see how. First, we have to go brackets. As you can see here, we have our list OS with its elements. So we want to use for loop with this slicing list. But first, I want to print a string sentence called now we are using for loop with slicing list. Then type for OS in OS square bracket. Then in the slicing list, put whatever you need. For me, I will put from 0 to 5 as example. Then print OS. Make sure of the indent after for loop. After that, try that on terminal. Alright, as you can see here, we got an error in the syntax because we forgot the colon. Okay, very nice. It's printed well right now. Thanks for watching. Copying lists using slicing lists. Copying lists using slicing lists. Copying lists are very important. If you want to add new elements to your slice list or to edit it, we use copy slicing list to do not make changes to the original one. Let's see how. Okay, first go to brackets and make a list, for example, programming languages or proglang. And I want to add elements such as C++, Python, PHP, Swift 4 separated by commas. So, to copy the slice list, Make a new list name and try to clarify that it's a copy list, such as copy underscore proglang equal proglang and the sliced list side. You also can specify starting and ending elements. After that, I want to print a string sentence that shows you the original sliced list. Then print proglang. In here, I want to print a string sentence that shows you the copy slice list is printing here. After that, print copy proglang. So let's try that on terminal now. Very good. The copy slicing list is printed well. So right now, let's try to add a new element to the copy list, which clarifies it's only added to the copy list without the original one by typing copy proglang dot append parenthesis and add any element. For example, Java. Please don't forget the quotation marks with Java. Then print copy proglang. Okay, comment out the first print of copy proglang and try that on terminal. Good job! As you see here in the output, the new element was added well in the copy slice list. Thank you. Using tuples. Using tuples. A tuple is a sequence of immutable Python objects, which means tuples cannot be changed like lists. Actually, tuples are like lists. The differences between tuples and lists are the tuples cannot be changed, and tuples use parentheses, whereas lists use square brackets. Note, there is a way to change the value of tuples, which called overwriting. We will see this now. Let's see how. First, go to the text editor brackets. To use tuple, just create any variable such as tup, equal sign, parentheses, and put any element such as 200, 50. It's just like a list, but we use parentheses instead of brackets, and there is no quotation marks as you can see in the screen. Okay, now print top, and print top element 0. Also print top element 1. As you can see here, when we print top, we use the square brackets to access elements in the tuple. After that, try on terminal. Cool, tuple printed well in the terminal. Okay, right now we will learn how to use for loop with tuples. It's exactly like what we did with lists. So type for top in top, colon, then print top. Don't forget the indent, please. it's better to comment out the prints above because we don't want the program to print them. Then try that on terminal and see where it goes. Cool. The program prints the for loop with tuple very well. Right, so let's learn something new. Because tuple cannot be changed, we only have a way to modify tuples, which called overriding. To do that, just type the tuple name that you had, tup =, parenthesis, and put any element that you like. You can put any numbers. After that, just print tup and try that in terminal. Nice. Did you see that? It's modified already. Don't forget that, it's called overriding. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. If-else statements. If-else statements. It's really important to know if-else statements. If a statement is an expression that lets you test conditions and to return either true or false. When if a statement returns true, it will execute the statement that you want it to execute. But if it's returned false, it will not going to execute the statement that you put. Let's see how. First we go to brackets. And now let's create a variable called var as an example, and I will assign it with 10. Okay, I will use if statement to know if var is equal 10 or not. As you can see here, I wrote if var equal 10 colon. So this equal operator returns true if the values on the left and right side of the operator match, and returns false if they don't match. Then print a string such as var equals 10. This print line is a statement because it came after if. Now I will use else. When you write else, please do not put indent because else is not inside the if. So write else colon, else here will execute when the if expression is not true. After that, print another string such as var is not equal 10. Try that on terminal. Cool. As you can see here, if expression is true, and it's printed out var is equal 10. But if we change var and put any number as example, else expression will execute. Try that on terminal and see. Nice, because if a statement is false, so the else statement works and says var is not equal 10. That's it for now. Thank you very much. Equal, greater, or less than operators. Equal, greater, or less than operators. While using if-else statements, we can use many different mathematical comparisons. For example, greater than or equal, less than or equal. These operations are very important to know them because you will use them a lot for all kind of programming languages. Note, while using greater than or equal or less than or equal, make sure the equal sign comes after the greater than and less than signs, such as if 15 greater than or equal 5, print yes. Let's see how. So now open brackets and we will use greater or less than with if-else statements for comparisons. For example, I will create a variable called greater and I will assign it with 10. Next, I will create a variable called less and I will assign it with 5. Okay, now let's compare these two variables. So type if greater is greater than less, then the statement will be print yes, else print no. After that, save the file and try it on terminal. Cool. As you can see here, greater variable which contains number 10 is greater than less variable which contains number 5. So if we change the operator to greater than or equal sign, which means if greater variable is greater than or equal to less variable, then print yes, else print no. Now try on terminal. Good, it says yes. Now we want to try less than sign and see that on terminal also. It says no because the greater variable is not less than the less variable. If we try less than or equal sign, it will also print no because the greater variable is not less than or equal to less variable. If we use the equal sign, which means greater variable is equal to less variable, print yes, else print no. As you can see here, it prints no because the two variables are not equal. Anyways, for now, please do not forget the equal sign. It should be after the greater or less than signs, not before, because it will print error in the terminal if you do that. Alright, thank you so much. Compare strings. It's very easy to compare strings using if statements. First, go to brackets. Then create a string variable such as name and assign it with any string such as Python or whatever you want to call it. Then create another string variable such as name2 and assign it with any string also such as C++. Now, let's use if statement with these strings to see if they are equal or not. By typing if name1 equal name2 colon, print a string sentence, two strings are equal, else colon, print two strings are not equal. After that, try them on terminal. Very good. It shows the two strings are not equal. Now, let's change the string of name2 and make it same as the string of name1. Then try on terminal. Sweet. As you can see here, the comparison works well and it shows that two strings are equal. That's it for now. Thank you very much, guys. Using not equal with if-else statements. First, go to brackets. Now create any variable such as num and assign it with any number such as 10. Okay, let's try if statement. If num is not equal 5, colon. So the exclamation mark is representing not in Python programming language, and also most of programming languages using exclamation mark for not. Then print num is not equal 5 and try that on terminal. Good, it's printed num is not equal 5. Okay, for now let's clean up this and create a new variable such as num2 equal 15. Then use if statement. If num is not equal to num2, colon, print num is not equal to num2. Else, colon, print num equal to num2. Then try that on terminal. Cool, it's printed num is not equal to num2. Alright, for now try to do that by yourself on your computer, and if you have any questions just let me know. Thank you very much, guys. Using AND with if-else statement. Using AND with conditions. We can use AND with if-else statements to check the conditions. The conditions will be true if all the conditions are true, but if one of the conditions is false, it will return false. Let's see how. First, go to brackets. Alright, now I'll show you how you can use AND with conditions. Create any variable such as 10 equal 10, another variable 5 equal 5. Wonderful. Now, let's use if statement to show you how to use AND. For example, we can say if 10 greater or equal 5 and 5 equal 10, colon. So remember, when using AND, all of the conditions should be true to work, but if one of them is false, it will return false, and it will print the statement of else. Okay, now print a string of true, else, colon, print a string of false. Then try that on terminal. Cool, as you can see here, it prints false. Do you know why? Because one of the condition is false, which is 5 is equal 10, which is wrong. So, if we try to change it to make it true, such as 5 is lower than or equal 10, it will print true. I hope you got that. Thank you very much, guys. Using OR with if-else statements. Using OR with conditions. We can use OR in multiple conditions with if-else statements. It will be true if at least one of the conditions is true, but it will return false if all the conditions are false. Let's see how. Okay, go to brackets now, and now I will show you how to use OR with conditions. Create any variable such as 10 equal 10. Another variable 5 equal 5. Let's use if statement to show how to use OR with them. For example, we can say if 10 equal 5 or 10 greater than or equal 5, colon. So if the condition is true, we will make 10 variable is equal 0. Then print a string of true, else, colon, print a string of false. After that, try that on terminal. Nice, it's print true. Do you know why, guys? Because one condition of this expression is true. So if we try to change 10 equal 5, it will print false, because all the conditions are false. Okay, thanks for watching. Checking values in lists with if-else statements. It's important to know how to check for an element, if is it in the list or not, because if you build a game or a website, you need to check for the username if it exists in your server or not. Note, we will use the keyword in within the if-else statements to check for the name if it's in the list or not. Let's see how. First, go to brackets. So pretended that you got a list called my list. Inside this list, you had elements of John, Nancy, Mia. So now, to check if John username is in the list, we can use if-else statements, such as if John with quotation marks in my list colon, then print yes if it's in the list, else colon, then print no, it's not in the list. After that, try that on terminal. Very good, works well. It shows that John is in the list. We also can add an element in the condition to check if it's in the list, such as and Nancy within quotation marks in my list. Cool, it says Nancy is in the list also. Okay, that's everything for now. Thank you very much. Checking values not in lists with if-else statements. Checking if not in the list. To check if an element is not in the list, you need to use the keyword not and in within the if-else statements. Let's see how. Okay, first go to brackets. As we did in the previous lecture, we have the same list, my list, with its elements. So now, let's make a new way to check the elements, such as to create a variable called name and assign it with a string mark. Then use if-else statements such as if name not in my list, colon. Then print name dot lower member function plus string space plus string it's not in the list. Lower member function is not required of you to do it, but it makes your code nice. Then type else colon, print it's in the list. Then try that in the terminal. Very good. As you can see, Mark is not in the list. So it's possible to create a variable and check if the contents of the variable are in the list or not. So now you need to try your own code on your computer. Thank you very much. If, elif, else statements. If, elif, else statements. Sometimes you need to write more than one if-else statements to check your conditions. So we can use if, elif, and else statements to do that. Let's see how. First, we go to brackets. So now we will create a full program to check if you are eligible for bank loans or not using if, elif, else statements. Okay, now we want to create a variable such as salary and I will assign it with int. Int means integer and it takes only whole numbers. So type input parenthesis string of how much is your salary \n means new line in terminal. Then we use if salary greater than 1000 colon and create a variable called amount and assign it with 200 and print a string you are eligible to get a bank loan by paying comma amount then comma string monthly. Cool. Now we want to use elif. So type elif salary equal 1000 colon. Make the amount variable equals to 500 here and print a string you are eligible to get a bank loan with a higher monthly price comma variable amount comma string monthly. Else colon print string sorry you are not eligible. After that, try that on terminal. As you see here, we get an error. Do you know why? Because else doesn't need to be indent. Try that again. Oh, we get another error, which is double T in input. It should be one T only, not double T. After that, try that on terminal again. Alright, so there's another error, which is in the variable salary. So make the spelling right. Very cool, now it works great. So now, enjoy your program. Testing multiple elif expressions. Testing multiple elif expressions. If we need to test multiple conditions in your code, we can use if and elif expressions as many as we need to do in our comparisons. There is no actual limits to use if, elif, else statements. Let's see how. So first go to brackets and we will make a full program to use if, elif, else statements. Okay, this program checks for discounts and the interest price is $120. Create a variable called price and assign it with $120. And another variable called times, is just to know how many times did you go to the zoo before. And assign it with int. Int means integer and it takes only whole numbers as we said before. Then parenthesis input. Input means to let the user insert any integer. So now type if times equal 3 colon and price equals 120 minus 30. Then print a string. Your total included discount will be, comma, variable price. It says here if times equal 3, which means if the user went to the zoo 3 times, the discount will be $30. That's why we use 100 minus 30. Now we use elif times equal 4 colon. Price will be 120 minus 50. Same thing, we use elif times equal 5 colon. Price equals 120 minus 60. Another elif times greater than or equals 6 colon price equals 120 minus 70. Else colon print a string of your total price is, comma, price, comma, another string, and you are not eligible for discount at this time. Okay, now try your program on terminal. How many times did you go to this zoo before? For example, 1 time. I'm not eligible because it's less than 3 times. As you see here, if you visit 6 times or more, your discounts will be only $70. Enjoy your program and try to play with the code. Thank you for watching. Dictionary in Python. Dictionary in Python. Python dictionaries are collection, and it's similar to lists which allow us to connect pieces of related information so we can access this information inside the dictionaries and change the information. Note: Python dictionaries are written with curly brackets, such as this form, dic equals curly brackets. Let's see how. To do dictionaries in Python, first go to brackets and create any variable name such as dic and curly brackets. Inside these curly brackets, we can create keys and you can connect them to values. So now we will create keys with its values. Type quotation marks and type any key name you like, such as Toyota, quotation marks, value name such as Camry, comma, another key, quotation marks, cylinder, quotation marks, value name V6. Then if you want to print your dictionary, type print dic, square brackets, quotation marks, and put your first key such as Toyota. Do the same thing with cylinder key. After that, try that on terminal. As you can see here, terminal printed keys values. Try to make your own dictionary now. Thank you for watching. Adding new value in dictionary. Adding new value in dictionary. Actually, you can add to dictionaries at any time you need in your program. Let's see how. So to add a key value to dictionaries, go to brackets. As you can see here, we have our previous dictionary dic. So if we want to add a new key with its value, we simply can type dic, square brackets, quotation marks, your new key such as color, equal, then we put the value such as quotation marks white. Alright, so I will print now to show you the new update. Print dic, square brackets, quotation marks, color, and then try on terminal. Very cool. As you can see here, the white value has been added well. Alright, now you need to do your code by yourself. Thank you for watching. Filling empty dictionary. Filling empty dictionary. We are able to create an empty dictionary in Python, then we can add new key values to it later. Let's see how. Okay, go to brackets now. So to create an empty dictionary and fill it up later, just create any dictionary name equals empty curly brackets. Then you can add new key values like what we showed in the previous lecture, such as dic, square brackets, quotation marks, Toyota, equal, quotation marks, and add your key value, such as Camry. You actually can add whatever keys you would like to add, like what I'm doing right now. Cool. Next, to print the whole dictionary, just type print dic. After that, try that on terminal. Pretty cool. As you can see, terminal printed the whole dictionary with its keys and values in one line. Thank you for watching. Edit a value in dictionaries. First, we'll go to brackets. It's very easy to edit the values in dictionaries. For example, if we have a dictionary called OS, operating systems, key Apple, value is Mac, key Microsoft, value is Windows, keys AT&T, value is PC. Now I will show you before changing and after changing. So to be very clear, I will print a string before plus OS square brackets quotation marks AT&T, which I want to change its value. So to change that, we simply just type OS square brackets quotation marks AT&T equals quotation marks Linux. So we changed from PC to Linux. Now I will print after changing. To see that on terminal, print string marks now is space plus OS square brackets quotation marks AT&T. So I will print the full dictionary OS. See that on terminal right now. Very nice, it works great and PC value has been changed to Linux. Anyways, thank you for watching and do not forget to write your own code on your computer. Delete a key from dictionary. Go to brackets. As you can see here, we have our dictionary from the previous lecture. So to delete a key with its value in dictionary, I will make that clear for you guys. Print string marks before deletion, then print OS to show all the dictionary in the terminal. So now to delete a key, we should write the keyword del OS square brackets quotation marks your key name AT&T. I also want to print after deletion. Then print OS and try that in terminal. Alright, very nice. As we can see right here, the key and its value has been already deleted. Thank you for watching. Using input function. Using input function. Input function can be used to prompt the user to insert a number or a string. Let's see how. So now go to brackets and we will try to do it. Okay, so to prompt the user to insert something, you need to save whatever the user has been inserted in a variable. Okay, watch how I'm gonna do it right now. Create a variable called name equal input parentheses, I will print a message such as what's your name? \n means no line in terminal. Then print a string of hi space plus name plus space how are you as an example. Then I will create another variable called user equal input parentheses. In this line, whatever things the user inserted will be stored in user variable. Finally, type print a string of thank you plus variable name plus goodbye string as an example, and you can do whatever you like. After that, try that on terminal. Alright, what's your name? John Doe. Cool, printed hi John Doe, how are you? So I'm good. Then printed thanks John Doe, goodbye. Really nice. You should try that by your code and your computer. Thank you for watching. While loop. While loop. While loop is looping as long as the condition is true, which means while loop will still loop as long as given condition is true and stops when the condition becomes false. While loop is very important, and almost all programming languages have while loop. Python have two primitive loops, for and while. Let's see how. Okay, open brackets to try using while loop. So I will use while loop to print I as long as variable I is less than 6. So type letter I equal 1. To use while loop, you have to type the keyword while first, then parentheses and put the conditions. For example, while I less than or equal 6 colon, which means I will still looping as long as I is less than or equal 6. Make sure the indentation is very important. Then type your statements or your block of code, such as print variable I and variable I plus equal 1. Plus equal 1 means to add by 1 each time the loop is looped. After that, try that on terminal and see what we did. As you can see, while loop was looping as long as the condition was true, and added by 1 each time was looped. Then it stopped looping when the variable becomes greater than 6, which breaks the condition rule that you have put it. Okay, thank you for watching. Using flag to stop looping. First, open brackets. Now, I will give you an example to see how the flag works. Create a variable equal empty string or nothing in the variable. Another variable such as name equal a string write any name \n. Alright. Now I will use the flag. Type while I is not equal quotation marks q colon I equal input parenthesis name. This means as long as variable I is not equal q, do the statement or the block of code that we did, which is I equal input parentheses variable name. After that, try that on terminal. As you can see, it says write any name. I will write anything now. Just watch out. Here the flag works when I type Q, because in the condition said as long as the variable I is not equal Q, let the statements work. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Infinite loop. Infinite loop. While loop becomes infinite loop if the condition never becomes false. So you have to be careful with that because the loop will loop infinite and never stops. That's why you need to make it false as possible to stop looping. Let's see how. Now go to brackets. I will show you how the infinite loop works. For example, create a variable I equal 1. Then use while I equal 1 colon. And create a variable name equal input parentheses string enter your name. Then print string your name is plus name. You can either use plus or comma. Now try that in terminal. Now I will put multiple names to show you. As you can see, it loops forever and never stops, because the condition never becomes false. Most of the time, infinite loop is not a good practice to do, and I really don't recommend it. Thanks for watching. Using break and continue with while loop. Using break and continue with while loop. Break and continue can be used in both for and while loops. Break can be used to exit the while loop immediately. Easiest definition for continue is skip and return back to the beginning to the loop. Let's see how. Okay, now go to brackets. I will show you how to use break first and then continue. For example, create a variable called I equal 1. Create an empty variable user equal empty string. Then use while I is less than or equal 5 colon. User variable equal input parentheses insert any name \n. Then print string you inserted plus user variable. Okay, now, if user equal string John colon, then type the keyword break. So break here means if the user inserted the name of John, it will exit the loop immediately. Then type elif user equal string Mac colon and type the keyword continue. Continue means if the user inserted Mike, the program will skip that and return back to the tab of the condition. Then type I plus equal 1, which means incremented by 1 each time the loop is looped. After that, try the code on terminal. Okay, I will put multiple names to show you. Watch out. As you can see, when I inserted John, the loop stopped. Now, I will use the terminal one more time with multiple names. Okay, when I inserted Mike, it skipped. When I inserted John, it stopped. That's everything for now. Thanks for watching. Functions. Functions. Function is a block of code that can only run when it's called. Functions can break your program to small parts to do a specific job of the program. It also makes your life easier to do not use a block of code multiple times. To define a function, just type the keyword def, your function name, parenthesis, colon, then your block of codes. Let's see how. Alright, now I will show you how to use functions. Make sure to know functions really well. It's really important and makes your life easier with code. And you really need to know functions if you wanna learn Python. So go to brackets. To define a function, type def keyword and then your function name, parenthesis, colon. Then your block of code such as print a string hello, this is code from the function. Also, indentation is super important in Python, make sure of that. So, if you take the indentation out, you will be out of the function, and you will be in your main program. In the main program, I will type print string of this is code from our main program, \n, to show you it's from the main program. So to call the function from your main program, easily type the function name and its parentheses. If there's arguments, you need to type them also. I will show you what's arguments in the next lectures. After that, try that on terminal. Beautiful, as you can see, your function works well in the main program. That's all for now. You need to practice functions in your own computer. Thank you very much. Arguments and parameters in functions. Arguments and parameters in functions. Parameters are the variable names within the function definition. Arguments are the values that passed in the function that is called. Let's see how. Open brackets. I will show you how to use arguments and parameters. So I will create a function called name, and its parameters will be if name, first name, and name means last name. So type def names parenthesis if name comma name colon. Then your block of code such as print string your first name is plus if name, and another code is print string your last name is plus name. You actually can put as many codes as you need in the function. So in the main program, out of the function, call the function name. Just type its name parenthesis and its arguments are John, Doe. So the values that are inside the function names are called arguments because you pass the values in the function to function parameter or function definition in the top. Also, it's very important to follow the order of arguments, which is the first name if name and last name name. Alright, anyways, now try the code and terminal. Alright, pretty cool. Everything works like what I explained. Thank you very much. Multiple function call. Actually, you can use function call as many as you need. So open brackets to see how. As you can see, this is our previous function names. Easily just type the function call that you want, such as names parenthesis quotation marks Nancy comma quotation marks Marco. Just an example. Another function call names parenthesis quotation marks Maria comma quotation marks Chris. After that, save the file and try it on terminal. Good, all the function calls work well. You actually can make it nicer to make a new line after each call. So to do that, inside the function definition, print string \n. Try again on terminal and see. You see that? It's pretty good. Thank you very much. Default values in functions. Sometimes you want your function to have multiple values by default, either a string or numbers. So go to brackets, I will show you how to do it. As you can see, we have our previous function names. So default values in functions mean to make the parameters of the function definition have values by default. To do that, in all parameters of the function names, we will give ifName parameter a value such as ifName equal quotation marks John and LName parameter equal quotation marks all punctuation marks Doe. So when we call the function without giving any arguments, it will print John Doe by default. So try that on terminal and see what it shows. Nice, but if we need to change the default values easily, we just can type function call names parenthesis ifName equal put any name such as Donald comma LName equal Jack. Then try it on terminal again. As you can see, the default values have been changed in our second call. That's it for now. Thank you very much. Order matter in functions. To follow the order of function parameters is important. For example, if you have a function that has two parameters, so when you call the function in the main program, you need to type the two arguments. If one of the arguments is left out in the function call, the terminal will give you an error. Open brackets to show you how. As you can see, this is our previous lecture code. So if we take out Doe in the second parameter in the first function call, try on terminal now and see what will happen. Yes, did you see this error? Because in the function definition has two parameters, and in the first function call that we did has one argument, which is John. But there is a way to swap the parameters to put the first name in the last name and the last name in the first name, such as names parenthesis LName equal quotation marks John comma ifName equal quotation marks Doe. Another function called to swap Nancy and Marco. Okay, for third function call, names parenthesis ifName watch out ifName not LName equal quotation marks Maria comma LName equal quotation marks Chris. After that, try that on terminal. Wonderful. As you can see, the names swapped out already. Alright, you need to do that by yourself and try it on your computer. Thanks for watching. Return value in functions. Return value in functions. Functions are not only be used for displaying data and information, but they also can be used to return values in the function definition. Actually, you can use functions for anything you need to perform. They make your life a lot easier in writing code. Let's see how. open brackets to see how can we return a value in the function. I will define a function called addition, parentheses, parameter A and parameter B, colon. Create a variable total equal variable A plus variable B. Those variables were declared in the parameters already. Now type return total. Return here means when we call a function, after the function perform, it will return the result to the main program. Okay, in the main program, print addition parentheses 10, 5 to pass them to addition definition. Then try that on terminal. Wonderful! It returned the result of the addition, 15. Thank you for watching. Classes. Classes. Because Python is object-oriented programming language, so classes are very important thing to know, and it's very effective rule in writing codes. Classes can be represented real-world things exactly like a blueprint. Almost everything in Python is objects, but classes are just like a blueprint, but classes themselves are not objects. Classes can create objects that are called instances. To create a class, simply we can do as keyword class, your class name, parentheses, colon. Then you can put your variables, functions, as many as code you need to perform. Note, first letter of the class name is always capital. So, to create an object of a class, your object name equal your class name, parentheses. See next lecture to know how to create a class object. Thank you for watching. Create a class. Open brackets. Okay, for example, to create a class, type class person. Make sure the P of person is capital, and then put parentheses, colon. So, inside class person, put your functions and variables. Okay, I will start with defining function insert with its parameters are self, name, age, ID number, colon. Self here is important, which means the function itself to store the passing values from the function calling the variable. So type self.name equal name, self.age equal age, self.id number equal ID number. Make sure the indentation is very important. Now, I will create another function called output, parentheses, self inside the parentheses, colon. This function will show the inserted values, name, age, ID number in the insert function. Okay, now print inside the output function string your name is space plus self.name plus your age is plus self.age plus string your ID is plus self.id number. Okay, sounds cool. Now we have declared our blueprint or class. So that's it for now, and follow the next lecture to see how to make a class object. Thanks for watching. Create a class instance or object. As you can see here, this is our previous class that we declared. So now, to create a class instance or a class object, simply type the name of the instance or the object that you want to create it, such as J equal person parenthesis. Okay, the J object has the functions and variables that are declared in the class person. So if we need to call the function insert in the object J, we simply can type j.insert parenthesis quotation marks John, comma, quotation marks 33, comma, quotation marks any ID numbers. Good. Then I will call the output function to print things that I have put in the function insert. After that, try that on terminal. Alright, as you can see here we got an error. Do you know why we got that error? It's actually because the indentation. You need to take out the indentation after you declare the class to go back to the main program. Pretty cool. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Constructor init function. Constructor init function. Init function is a built-in function in Python, and it's the constructor of the class. Constructor is called whenever a new object of the class is created, and it should be called only during creating the object. Self parameter in the init function refers to the instance or the object itself, and it's important to use it if you want to use a constructor in your class. Let's see how. Okay, first go to brackets. As you can see, we have our class person. Now I will show you how to use the constructor of the class. Type def underscore underscore init underscore underscore parenthesis self name age ID number colon. Then self.name equal name, self.age equal age, self.id number equal ID number or ID number, whatever it is. Next, type our output function. Okay, now we are in the main of the program. To use the constructor of the class, create an object such as John equal person, parenthesis, quotation marks John, 33, and put any ID numbers. Alright, so during creating the object, we passed the arguments to the constructor of the class. Then type John the output function. After that, try that on terminal. Really nice. The constructor of the class works well. Thank you for watching. Accessing variables or functions of an object. If you have a class object and you want to access its variables or functions, it's really easy to do so. First, open brackets. As you can see, this is our previous code. So to access class objects, variables, or functions, type the object name the class name, such as John.name. But I want to print now, so it will be John.name. We actually use the dot to access the variables or functions. Now try that on terminal. Cool, printed John well. Watch out now. I will print age, ID number, and output function. Nice, all of them work well. Thanks for watching. Creating multiple instances of a class. First, go to brackets. We have our person class here, so it's very easy to make multiple instances of a class. Such as j equal person, make a constructor, quotation marks John, comma, 46, comma, put any ID number you like. You also be able to do another object class. You actually can do as many as instances you like. Such as m equal person, make a constructor, quotation marks Melissa, comma, quotation marks 55, comma, any ID number you like. Okay, then use j the output and m the output to print them on terminal. Pretty nice, multiple objects work well. As you can see, all of these lectures are just examples for you, so you need to do that by your computer. Thank you very much. Class inheritance. Class inheritance. Class inheritance means to create a class called child to inherit all the features, functions, and variables of the base class parent. Inheritance makes the life easier when you need to create a class that takes all the features of the previous class you got. So, you do not need to repeat the same code of the previous class to the new one. That's why we use inheritance. Let's see how. Now, I will show you how to use inheritance. First, go to brackets. Okay, I will create a class called child. Inside the parentheses of the class child, we put the parent name class person inside the parentheses colon. Then type the keyword pass, which means child class will inherit all the features of person class. Then simply create a new object of child class, such as kid equal child parentheses quotation marks Johnny comma quotation marks 5 kid.output. After that, try that on terminal. Alright, as you can see here, we got an error. Do you know where to find this error? It's actually order matter because the constructor accepts 3 arguments, not 2 arguments. Anyways, I will add any ID numbers. Try the terminal now. Wonderful, works great right now. Thanks for watching. More about class inheritance. Go to brackets now. For now, I will create a new class that is over child class. Class man parentheses colon. Define a function called strong, def strong parentheses self colon. Then print a string min are strong. Now, kid object will inherit these features. So type kid.strong parentheses. After that, try it on terminal. As you can see, we got an error because we did not include man class inside the parentheses of the child class. Try on terminal one more time. Pretty nice, it works now. That's everything for now. You need to do that by your computer. You need to try your code and see everything. Thank you for watching.